A strange thing happened to rest over the last few decades. We turned it into something that has to be earned. Some people now feel more guilty relaxing for a single hour than working for 10. You sit down to watch a movie and feel anxious halfway through. You take a single day off and suddenly feel like you're falling behind in life. Even vacations don't fully feel relaxing anymore. This localized anxiety is actually a documented global condition. The World Health Organization officially classified burnout as an occupational phenomenon linked directly to chronic workplace stress. This chart compares the expectation that technology would reduce our labor against the reality of modern working hours. In the United States, the average full-time worker still spends roughly 1,800 hours working every single year. In countries like South Korea and Japan, policies surrounding overwork became a matter of public health. Japan even has a specific word for death caused by overwork, karoshi. So despite the promise of algorithms and automation making our lives easier, the opposite occurred. Modern systems successfully turned the biological necessity of doing nothing into a psychological trigger for genuine panic. Historically, this mindset is very new. Before industrialization, human life and labor moved in tandem with organic, natural rhythms. We followed the seasons, sunlight, the weather, and harvest cycles. The historical turning point happened during the Industrial Revolution. Time itself was decoupled from nature and moved indoors. The factory system introduced strict schedules and measurable output. Time became a standardized commodity. Eventually, human beings stopped viewing time as an integrated part of life. We started viewing it strictly as a resource that always has to produce results. This industrial framework shifted how we view the purpose of labor. When every hour is tracked and every movement is measured, work stops being a means of survival and starts becoming a way to quantify a person's worth. Decades later, communication technologies scaled that productivity pressure up to a global network. Before social media, people mostly compared themselves locally, to friends, coworkers, or classmates. Today, a 19-year-old opens TikTok and is immediately exposed to the idealized digital lifestyles of millionaire entrepreneurs and fitness influencers. This constant exposure creates what psychologists call time anxiety. It's the paralyzing fear that you are wasting your life while everybody else is moving forward. Every day you see endless evidence of somebody else optimizing their routine, waking up at 5 a.m. or building a side hustle. Even when you know the content is exaggerated, your brain processes it emotionally. This demand for purpose infects our leisure time. Photography becomes content creation. Drawing becomes a revenue stream. Fitness becomes self-branding. Neuroscientists studying chronic stress found that long-term exposure to this productivity pressure elevates cortisol activity. In simple terms, your nervous system literally forgets how to slow down. Once productivity becomes emotionally fused with your identity, stopping work ceases to be a restorative break. It feels like a dangerous loss of momentum. The problem is that this constant demand for output contradicts how human cognition works. This is a map of the brain's default mode network. It triggers during periods of rest and mind wandering when active processing pathways power down. While supposedly doing nothing, this network drives essential cognitive functions, handling emotional regulation, memory consolidation, and deep creative processing. This creates the ultimate paradox. The relaxation modern workers feel guilty about is the exact biological mechanism required to sustain long-term productivity and decision-making. But the digital economy will never incentivize this reality. Algorithms strictly reward visibility, consistency, and output. Rest cannot go viral. So if you feel anxious taking a day off, it is not a personal failure. You haven't become lazy. You are just experiencing the intended result of an artificial system that convinced you your human worth is measured in output.